It's Brian Preston, the money guy.
Let's flip the script and talk about what is college actually going to cost. Now, this was an exercise, and once again, we're trusting upon Daniel's math calculations, but it was scary, but it was actually also exciting to see that you can still afford college. Because I think there's a lot of people out there that are saying, whispering in your ear, that college is now unattainable.
Well, and when you talk about this, you pontificate about this all the time, Brian, about what we've seen with the cost of college over the last 5, 10, 15, 20 years. We even did an exercise on that. It almost seems like those costs have been allowed to run rampant with no real sort of governor on them.
I'm going to go ahead. Scam might be a hard word, but I will tell you, I think student loans enabled universities, colleges, it didn't matter, private, public, it gave them an open season on running up the cost of education. So, and we did a show not too long ago talking about the cost of education at University of Georgia.
Right.
And we figured out, because I'm the oldest, then we had you as the next oldest, and then we had Daniel as the third one, because we're all UGA grads, and we figured out it was 7% per year inflation. Rate of return wise, that's a pretty healthy rate of return. So you can imagine inflation that's way above average when you do financial plans where inflation has ranged recently from 0.5% to at most 2 to 3%.
Right.
So, but let me give you some positive trends, because there's so much negative information out there. Let me give you some positive trends that are going on. Right now, the rising costs of college are starting to slow down. Last year, college costs actually went down close to 0.5%. It was actually 0.4% reduction.
That's something worth even repeating, Brian, because I think the common thought out there, especially for parents who have children approaching college age, is, oh, they're just blowing through the roof. It's blowing up, it's blowing up, it's blowing up. Maybe not. Maybe the tide is turning a bit as there has been some awareness around the costs.
I think the light has been shined upon this, and people are starting, because think about the transition we've had. We had all these for-profit colleges that were advertising on, daytime talk shows, late night if you couldn't sleep. There was a for-profit college that was probably advertising to you. I don't think you see as many of those. There's been a lot of scandals that have come out about how those things were kind of not in your best interest. I think the same light that kind of blew up those situations is also drawn attention to this inflationary pressure that's been on education is unsustainable.
That's right.
So look at this. Here's another stat. Over the last 5 years, 4-year public college costs have actually increased an average of 1.3% per year. That seems much more manageable and much more reasonable.
Yeah, I think about, if you think about like the average cost of living adjustment on pension type plans or just standard inflation, a 1.3% rise in cost is something I feel like we can stomach. I feel like, now you have cash that can pay you more than that, right? So it seems like that seems a little more reasonable, very different than the 7% we've become used to.
So Daniel went and pulled, we went and pulled the College Board. They had stats on what college costs. Now we went ahead, we threw the kitchen sink at this thing, because I didn't want to just put tuition in there. We could put tuition, but let's face it, your kids are going to have to live somewhere. They're going to have transportation. They're going to have activity fees. They're going to have books. They're going to have to eat. We want to know, what is college actually going to cost for your children? And then, but we said, but you can't use just what the College Board puts out today. We need to grow this thing, because let's just assume you have a brand new baby. Congratulations, you are now the brand new parent of this son or daughter. And in 18 years from now, you're going to need to know how to fund their education. Right. So you have 18 years to make this goal happen. We're going to assume that you invest this. You're going to start saving. You can make around 8% per year, and we're going to grow the cost of college by 1.5%, exactly a little bit higher than that stat that I just read to you at 1.3. And then we're going to do this for 18 years. So walk them through what the research from the College Board inflated for the future, what we came up with.
So this is what we determined. We think that the cost of a private, nonprofit 4-year on-campus university is going to cost total nut about 18 years from now, $278,000. And that actually comes out to about a little under $70,000 per year inflated. If you want to look at a public 4-year, again, living on campus, the number drops down to $138,000. Well, then if you want to look at a public 4-year university living at home.
That's an important concept.
Living at home, it's a significant one. The cost actually drops down to $79,000 for your total cost of tuition. And then if you want to look at like a community college and then a public 4-year, so you care more about where the degree was, less about where the core competency comes in.
I think this deserves a little bit of attention in the fact that doing public education, 2 years community college, and then 2 years at the university, this is something that people often overlook. I had several guys I went to college with that we all graduated with accounting degrees and so forth. But guess what? They got their first 2 years at a community college, and then it's much easier if you have colleges that are hard to get into. Sometimes it's much easier to transition in as a sophomore, as a junior, as you get into some of those major classes, and it can save you a fortune.
And we go speak to high school students all the time, and we even talk to parents about this. We've been blessed that we've hired a number of folks here at the firm, and we've hired a lot of the Money Guy family, folks that were listeners before. And the thing that we hang on the wall when someone comes to us is we put the diploma of where they graduated from.
Sure.
It doesn't talk about year 1, 2, or 3. It only talks about the one where they walked across the stage.
Where you are at the finish line
That's
is
it.
what you're actually graded and recorded on. It didn't matter if you didn't go all 4 years
That's right.
there. I kind of look at this as, now, look, you went to another college for 2 years before you came to UGA. I went all 4 years. Our diplomas look exactly the same.
That's exactly right. Yours looks older and kind of yellowed. But other than that, exactly the same.
Save some secrets for the studio tours. When people come and tour the office, they can see the faded parchment paper that the Egyptians pounded out to put my diploma on. So don't share all the studio tour secrets. But let's talk about, so here's the thing that I want to transition from this slide. So when I look at the $278,000 for private school, when I look at $138,000 for public school, and then even if you stay at home, I mean, we're talking about $79,000 or $64,000 if you're living with your parents or something like that. That still seems somewhat expensive. But how do we break this down to where it's much more digestible? Let's talk about what you actually have to save per month. Because remember, you're the brand new, congratulations, parent of a bouncing boy, bouncing girl, whatever you have. What are you going to need to save every month to make sure they can go to college? So let's go ahead and pull the curtains back and show them that data.
Yeah, so if you want to be able to pay for a private 4-year university living on campus, you need to start saving just a touch under $600 a month when Junior's born. So
that still
about
seems kind of
$570.
expensive.
It
Because
does.
when you have babies, you're broke.
There's not exactly money laying around.
Because babies don't generate income initially. They actually kind of pull on the back pocket much more than they generate income.
And then if you want to look at a public 4-year university, it's about $285 a month. So now it's sounding a little bit better.
That sounds like a deal compared to private education, but still expensive.
A public 4-year university, if you're going to live at home, that's $163 a month. And then if you want to do the 2-and-2 type strategy, that's $102.
But listen, that's I don't want to gloss over. That's $100 a month.
That's $100 a month.
Now, when I was, remember, this goes full circle. When I was, sitting a junior in high school, economics, I had that teacher that was also the gym coach, former military, who said, guys, if y'all could just save $100 a month, you'll be a millionaire at retirement. And I was like, I work fast food. I could make $100 and invest $100 a month. It's the same thing. Digestibly, I think it's very easy for the average parent if you can just realize as soon as that baby's born. Sure. If you're a grandparent, this is also an awesome thing to know. Start putting around at least $100 a month, and you should be set. Remember the order of operations. Don't get the kids in front of your own retirement, but this shows that it is manageable and digestible.
And remember, this is covering 100% of the cost. That's not to say that your child couldn't take out some sort of student loan, some sort of assistance, or have scholarships or grants or something. This is if you wanted to bear 100% of the cost. So what we always tell brand new parents is, okay, yeah, your goal might be $600 a month, but if you can't start there, start somewhere. Start at 50, start at 100, start at 100, whatever you can do, start somewhere. Because just like with financial independence, the longer you wait, the harder and harder it is and the more work you have to do to get there.